Okay, so welcome to everybody who is with us and joining us this morning. And we're just getting ready to go live on Facebook. I don't know if you just want to chat to people while they join and while I get it on Facebook, Marc and Sahela.
Okay, am I going to be seeing some people appearing on the screen, or?
Yeah, they can see you. They can see you right now.
They can see us, but we can't see them. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, because it's a webinar. Yeah.
Cool. Right. Well, shall I just introduce myself quickly then, Rosemary? And yeah. So I'm Marc Innes. So I'm very kindly been asked to come along this morning from Rosemary and Thinktree, just to talk about EFT, or more commonly these days known as tapping. Tapping is used for a variety of different reasons, anything from pain to anxiety to addictions to cravings. So I'm here just to chat to you about that and do a little bit of a live demo with Sahela, and just to introduce you to the simplicity of it, really, so that it'll be a tool that you can maybe take away with you after today's session and use it on yourself. So let's see where we go with it all, really.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted me to add to that, Rosemary, or do you want to just introduce me? Or
I will introduce you properly. Do you know what? I can get it going live on here via me. Amazing.
Fantastic.
Right, we are so nearly there, and I'm going to do you another little intro anyway, because I know one of the things that I really wanted to say about Marc is all the experience he's got as a former paramedic, who's been running a massage school for a long time, but also somebody who is absolutely so deeply knowledgeable about everything to do with oncology. And I know that's one of the areas that you're really moving into, isn't it, Marc?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Oncology with massage. So it's something I've been developing for the last really 4 years. So when things move forward a little bit, it's something I'm going to be offering in terms of practical training. I'm almost completion stage to launch my online theory as well. So
amazing.
Yeah, so there'll be theory online and then follow-up practical training as and when we can all come together and do that sort of thing. So yeah, so that takes up most of my time at the moment. Yeah,
that's brilliant. And we are now live on Facebook. I'm going to do it this way in future, I have to say. It's so much easier. Anyway, as I said to everybody who's joining us now on Facebook, we're great that today we have got Marc, and he's going to show us how we can really use some really simple little tapping routines to deal with everyday feelings, emotions that are coming up, particularly at the moment, but all those everyday things that just get us down, and we think, what can I not just deal with it in a second, or just deal with it and take it down a little bit. And Marc's going to show you exactly how you can take it down with EFT. And my lovely friend Sahela's here, who's the guinea pig, and she's so lovely, and I'm so pleased that she's joining us today as well. She's an osteopath, as you can see. She's based in West Wickham, right by me. And Marc, I'm going to leave you and Sahela to get started right now.
Sure. I was just going to do a quick intro just for people who haven't heard of it before, just a very quick history of it, really. So you might have heard of EFT, emotional freedom technique. You might have heard of thought field therapy, or just plainly the term tapping. You might have heard some things about it. Probably some of the things you might know about it is it looks and sounds a bit weird. We're sort of tapping all over our face and our head and on our fingers, and some very strange things that we say. But don't be fooled by that, because it's a really effective tool and technique. So I learned it years ago, just after I finished studying NLP. The lady who taught me NLP introduced me to tapping for fears and phobias, really. But as I discovered over the years, it's useful for a whole host more things, and something that, you know, just use in everyday life, really. You know, if you meet somebody who's going through a bit of stress or anxiety, you know, I often ask them, have you heard of tapping? And, you know, if we've got some space or time, we can sit down and I can show you what to do. So it's a portable technique really. It's been used quite a lot recently in different forums, since all the COVID-19 and the sort of lockdowns. Obviously, it's a strange thing for everybody to be getting their head around. So not surprisingly, there've been a lot of anxieties and fears, and so in our little groups and groups I've sort of tuned into, we've been working with people with a variety of different sort of thought processes, really, from just fear of the future, or feeling claustrophobic, or worried about money. So again, it's it can be applied to a host of different things. Just a quick bit of history. It was developed by a psychologist called Roger Callahan back in 1979. Not in the original form it's in today, but he was a psychiatrist and working with a lady who had a fear of water. And he wasn't really getting very far with her. And one day she just happened to say to him during a session that she had a feeling in the pit of her stomach. So having studied a bit of acupuncture as well, and I'm sure most of you are aware of acupuncture, he was thinking about the stomach and the stomach meridian. So he just sort of said to her, just tap here on one of the meridian points. This is the stomach meridian point. And just see if that makes any difference. Lo and behold, it seemed to clear, and that feeling sort of left her. So we always, like to test our work. So he took her out to his swimming pool and got her to stand at the side of the water where normally it would bring her anxiety. She kept tapping, and not only had she lost the feeling in her stomach, but that fear of water had really come down. So lo and behold, he discovered tapping, and he called it thought field therapy. Had a number of different sort of protocols for different types of fear, anxiety. But a guy called Gary Craig back in the 90s really took thought field therapy and developed it even further. And he came up with just a general protocol, more or less the same tapping points all the time, whilst you're tuned into the issue or the problem or the feeling. And he discovered he was getting amazing results with it, particularly some of the war veterans who had PTSD, and it had all these things locked into a part of the brain called the amygdala, which stores all the fears and anxieties and replays them all the time. So he brought it into the world, if you like, and I've been using it ever since. So I'll talk a bit about it now. I know, Rosemary, I've sent you a diagram to share with the group later on, just to sort of see where the tapping points are, but I'm going to show you them anyway. And what I suggest for those who are watching is that if you've got a pen and paper handy, you might want to just scribble down a couple of statements or things like that, just stuff that you can use yourself. So here we go. So the first thing we would do if we had a thought or a feeling, so let me give you some examples. It may be you have a craving, could be a cigarette craving, some sort of addiction or something like that. It could be a feeling, like a feeling of, a lot of people get anxiety in their chest, they feel tightness in their chest, or it could be a neck pain, it could be a headache, it could be a knee pain. It could be anything really, pain, discomfort, anxiety, and we can use this technique on all of them. But what we would start off doing is what we call scaling it or scoring it. So for example, Zayla, you mentioned something to me earlier on about some anxiety when we were introducing ourselves. Are you happy to share that with everybody?
Yeah, of course. So I was just saying that my daughter is starting nursery tomorrow, so she's 3. And she was supposed to be starting the week after we got locked down, which would have been, I feel, much easier transition, because she's already she was going to the childminder 3 days a week, and she would be going to the new nursery the same 3 days, and so we'd still have a similar routine. But obviously with everything that's happened, she's now been with me and my husband 24/7 for 9 weeks. She hasn't asked for anyone else. She's been totally content with our full attention, and now I'm feeling quite anxious about her going from us 24/7 to nursery 3 days a week.
Yeah, so you've been in real sort of mummy protection mode and things like that. Yeah. So what are you feeling at the moment about when you think the thought of your daughter going to nursery tomorrow? Can you describe the thought or feeling that you get?
Yeah, so I feel like my chest feels tight. Like every time I think about it, I take a deep breath in, because my chest starts to feel really tight. I get a bit of neck pain as well, actually, on my left side when I think about it as well. And
have you got that now? Now that we're talking about it?
yeah, well, it's sort of actually a bit more in my shoulder here.
Okay, so
And
you've
my
got something
chest
going on in the
feels quite
shoulder as
tight.
well. So is that in the
Yeah.
muscle or?
Yeah, just in traps muscle here.
Okay, and what's the feeling? Because it's good to get very specific
Yeah.
with the.
It feels.
So rather than just say an ache or it's good to be very specific about the So rather than ache, it could be a nagging pain or something like that. But you're
feels
talking
just
about.
really tight, almost as though someone's just got hold of it and they're just holding it there.
So it's a tightness feeling.
Yeah.
Tightness. Okay, so we'll keep that word. We use your word. It's very important to use your words because only you know how it really feels.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also accompanying that, you've got some tightness in your chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to score both of them. So if I said to you on a scale of 1 to 10, how 1 being not very much at all, 10 being quite strong, what would be the anxiety feeling if you had to give it a number?
Oh God. Probably in my chest, like about an 8.
Okay, so an 8, and how would you describe that again? That feeling tightness? Did you use the word tightness?
Yeah.
Word you like?
I guess so. Yeah, it just feels a bit more heavy, this one on my chest. A bit more of
Okay,
a heaviness.
so let's use heaviness on the chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So scored at an 8. What about this feeling here?
This one's probably like a 5.
Okay, and that feels like a tightness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and do both together, both
Yeah.
things together, and to see if one makes a difference to the other.
Mhm.
But things can often change throughout, so do keep me posted. Now, I mentioned at the beginning that it all looks a little bit odd, so I'm going to just go through some tapping points. I know you've done some before, Sahela, but I'm going to talk to you as though you hadn't done it before.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It was a long time ago.
Sure. Now, I would say ordinarily, if I'm doing this, I like to be in the room with somebody. Obviously, we can't be doing that. And often I will ask the client if I can tap on them. Personally, I find it works really well that way, but that's not to say that it doesn't work any other way, because the whole point of this is we want to give you the tools to go away and do this yourself. So anybody out there that wants to sort of do this with me and tap along and get used to where these points are, so feel free. So we're going to start with the top of the head, literally the top of the head, the crown. If we were a puppet, it's where the string would go. Okay, and just using all fingers, just going to tap there. Okay, I'm not doing it at the moment. I'm just showing you where the points are. Okay, so just there. Now I'm going to come closer to the screen and I'm going to show you on the corner of your eyebrow. And it doesn't matter which side you do, but just literally on the corner of your eyebrow. I'm just using my finger, tap there. And then I'm going to come to the bone at the side of the eye and tap there. And then underneath the eye on the bone. This was the one that Roger Callahan used for his lady's stomach meridian. Yeah. Underneath the eye. So just to recap, we've done here, top of the head, corner of the eyebrow, the inside of the eyebrow. We've done the side of the eye on the bone, and we've done underneath the eye on the orbit. Now we're going to go underneath the nose, just above the top lip, and then just below the mouth in the chin, on center of the chin. Okay, so those are all the facial tapping points. One more recap: top of head, corner of eyebrow, side of eye, on the bone, under the eye on the bone, under the nose, under the chin. Now we're going to do some stuff on the hands and the fingers in a moment. There's a couple on the body. So the collarbone, which you'll be familiar with as an osteopath, where it meets, where it articulates with the sternum or the manubrium. Just where those joints are here, just tap on that joint. And again, you can tap either side. This is really useful for the adrenals when we have anxiety. The adrenal glands, it helps to calm them. So we can add that into the mix. Also on the side here, now I'm going to say, where the nipple is, if you draw an imaginary line where the nipple is to the side, on the side of the body, it's in line with the nipple, but on the side of the body. Okay. I'm going to hold the hands up now, thumb uppermost, and I'm going to tap on the side of the nail. So where my thumbnail is, literally on the side. Okay, thumb, first finger at the side of the nail, middle finger, the side of the nail. Ignore that ring finger. There, just on the side of the little one. And I'll tell you why we're ignoring that one in a moment. Okay. So those are all the tapping points. We're going to go round the face, collarbone, here, all the fingers. whilst we're tuned into the issue. Now, a couple of other things just to tell you. There's some other things that will definitely look a bit odd. Now, where the little finger and the ring finger, where there is a gap in the bones, yeah, okay, that's called the 9 gamut point. You'll feel where the bones are, tapping in between the joints there, okay. And then this, on the side of the hand, is what we call the karate chop point. We start off with that, the karate chop point, so literally the side of the hand. And notice I'm sort of just tapping up and down, yeah, just to hit the point. You know, that's why we tap several times, because we might miss it the first or second time. So several taps means at some point we'll get the right point. And these are all acupuncture points, okay? Then I'm also going to ask you to do some things that I'm going to ask you to, with your eyes, some eye movement stuff, to look down hard right and hard left, and rotate your eyes all the way around and back. And even more crazily, I'm going to get you to hum and sing and count. So whilst you're tapping that point, so I might say, let's hum happy birthday. And then count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hum again. It's not my birthday, but anyway. And tap again. Why are we doing that? Again, I'll explain this later on. So like I said to you right at the beginning, it all looks and feels a little bit weird, but it works. So using those points, using all that, I'm going to guide and direct you through now. We'll go back and we'll tap on that issue that you said you were having. So just to recap, you had about 5, you said, wasn't it? About 5 tightness. Is that still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel it a little bit here, actually, as well.
Okay.
It's maybe like a bit less here, but yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes it can move around a little bit or change. Yeah, that can happen.
When we were doing this one, I really felt the chest actually go down quite immediately.
Okay, so the anxiety, yeah, the adrenals and the anxiety point, yeah, that's interesting. So how is that now? What would you, that's without even really doing it properly. So
yeah,
what would you describe that as now?
Probably like the same, 5.
Out of 5. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I felt it like immediately.
Okay. So we're going to do what we call a setup statement. So this is using some terminology, and this is for those of you out there with a pen and paper, you might want to write this down. We usually start off with a setup statement whilst we're tapping on the karate chop point, and it will be something like this. Even though I have this level 5 pressure, was it pressure you said in your chest?
Heaviness, heavy. Yeah.
Even though I have this, do you want to do this with me, Sahela? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's start it. So even though I have this level 5 or this 5 heaviness in my chest and this tightness in my shoulder, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Okay, so that's a setup statement. We're going to say it 3 times. So let's start that now. So say it with me. So even though I have this 5 pressure in my chest,
I have this 5 pressure in my chest.
And this 5 tightness in my shoulder.
And this 5 tightness in my shoulder.
Deeply and completely.
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
Accept myself. Is that
love
what you
and
said?
accept myself.
Oh, love and accept myself.
And accept myself. Yeah. And let's do it another couple of times. So even though I have this 5 pressure.
Heaviness. I have this 5 heaviness in my chest.
5 tightness in my shoulder.
And 5 tightness in my shoulder.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
One more time. Even though I have this.
Even though I have this heaviness.
5 heaviness.
5 heaviness in my chest and 5 tightness in my shoulder.
Deeply and completely love and accept.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Okay. Now we're going to shorten the statement down. We're just going to say heaviness and tightness. So top of the head. It's heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Remember the one in the eye. Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Under the eye, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Under the nose, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Under the chin, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Collarbone, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Side of the arm, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Now onto the fingers, side of the thumb, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Middle finger, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Ignore that one little finger, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Just place it over your heart, tap in that 9 gamut point there between the little pinky and the ring finger in that gap. So I want you to look down hard right with your eyes, hard left. Rotate all the way around, slowly, and all the way back. That's it. Now, hum with me. Count to 5. 1,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Carry on the tune. Okay, let's do another round of tapping. So,
okay.
This tightness and
Heaviness and tightness.
This tightness and heaviness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Under the eye, heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Oh, notice that change in your breathing? Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness. On the
heaviness and tightness.
Collarbone. Notice I'm doing the other side. It doesn't matter which side. Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Nearly there. Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness. Middle finger.
Heaviness and tightness.
And to the little finger. Heaviness and tightness.
Heaviness and tightness.
Okay. Let's talk about 3 or 4 minutes, something like that. 3 minutes,
yeah.
maybe? Yeah. So let's reassess. So we had a 5 for both of them. So just take a moment just to center and just notice what's the feeling now, firstly in your chest.
The feeling in my chest is almost gone.
Fantastic. So what would you score it as?
Maybe a 1.
Fantastic. Brilliant. What about this feeling here?
That one there is probably still maybe like a 2 or 3.
So it's gone down, it's going the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we would normally do at this point is, if you're happy with that, I mean, sometimes if it's things like pain or discomfort, sometimes we may never really get rid of a pain. We may get it from an 8 or a 10 down to a 1 or a 2, and it might stick there. Or we might get rid of it totally. So that's, usually things with chronic pain and things like that. Also, when you're tapping, other things sometimes come up in your mind, thinking, oh, hadn't realized that, because this tapping business is a bit like peeling away the layers of an onion, and other thoughts or feelings, or this might change, might kick in. And then we would tap again in exactly the same way we've just done it, but with a new thought or the new feeling. Do you see what I mean? So we could now say, in your case, it's about a 3 now, you said there, yeah? I'm going to ignore that because I think with another round of tapping, that might just subside totally anyway. Just focus on here. So let's just do the setup statement again. Karate chop point. Even though I have this remaining tightness in my shoulder.
Tightness in my traps.
Yeah, remember we want to be very specific. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I have this remaining tightness.
Even though I have this remaining tightness.
In my left traps. I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
One more time. Even though I have this.
Even though I have this
remaining tightness
in my left traps,
deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
This remaining tightness. We'll be shortening it down now. This remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Under the nose, this remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Collarbone, this remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Remaining
this
tightness.
Remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
Should we do the hummy clappy, the hummy thing? So
yeah, sure.
Find that 9 gamut point again in between and the bones in between. Just place it here. So hard down right with your eyes. Hard down left. Rotate all the way around, all the way back. 1, 2,
3, 4, 5.
This remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness.
Remaining tightness.
This remaining tightness. The
On the
remaining
bone at the side.
tightness.
Yeah, you've got your glasses on there, haven't you?
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
The remaining tightness.
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 Then we can really, once we know the protocol, we can really, remaining tightness, we can really
Remaining tightness.
speed it up a little bit if we want to.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a reassess.
Yeah. That feels a lot better.
Feels easier.
Yeah, a lot easier.
Now we could carry on doing that. We could see if it's changed. The feeling's different. You know, when you really advance in EFT, you do things like matrix re-imprinting, which really advances it a lot further. Obviously, I can't really explain that in the short space of time we have today. You can really start to reassess, and things change, and then really approach it from with colours, with shapes.
Yeah.
That works a lot for some people.
Yeah.
So we won't have time to sort of go around and do another one, but it's basically, and this feeling here in your chest, how's that?
Yeah, it's a lot better. I feel a lot better. Just generally, I feel a lot lighter.
Brilliant. So you know what, when this feeling comes up, if it comes up again, or something else comes up, you know the protocol now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll get Rosemary to pop it up on the screen. But just thinking, okay, so how does it feel? I'm going to score it on 1 to 10. You might want to give it a color or something. Oh, there you go. Can you see that there? You just shared it on the screen. Yeah. So you can see on the top picture, you've got the top image. You've got the karate chop points, just all the way along there. Can you all see that? Okay. Can you see that, Sahila? Yeah. You got the points on the face, the top of the head, the collarbone, and under the arm. Just a reminder of where those points are. Remember, we start off with the karate chop. That's why it's at the top, and that's when we do our setup statement. So even though I have this, I deeply, completely love and accept myself, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Then we move into the face in the middle image, and then of course top of the head. Well, we start at the top of the head actually, and then onto the face. So yeah, have to swap them around a bit there, and then the collarbone, the arms, and then the points that I showed you on the hand, which are not on that diagram actually. I apologize for that. I should have put another one in. But you know where they are. They're literally on, if you have the thumb uppermost, on the side of the nail, on all fingers apart from this one. The reason we don't use this one is because we tapped in there when we did that humming and counting, so it's the same meridian point basically.
Right, okay.
So we just be tapping it twice. So that's just that's an example of what we can do. Now, obviously, it can be used for a lot of things, and to really work with somebody on deep stuck trauma, or it means probably being in the same room as somebody, or having lots of time, because that onion thing I talked about can expose and bring up a lot of things, particularly deeper core beliefs or core patterns. And that's why I didn't want to do anything too complex today in the time we had. But just be prepared that it can sometimes release things. I mean, I've worked with people who suddenly started laughing uncontrollably, or floods of tears, because you've done in some cases, a lot of releasing. And often, with people who've had something for a long time, over a long period of time, like a chronic pain that's gone on for years, or a thought or a feeling, when you finish that tapping, it's really interesting. You watch them sometimes and they're kind of looking for it. Where's it gone? Processing the fact that it's not there anymore, it's not as bad, and you can see that sort of breakthrough. And also watch people's patterns as you're tapping with them, or notice your own patterns. I mean, halfway through that, I noticed your breathing had really slowed down, and your voice had got a lot calmer. So there you go. There's an example. So I would say to people out there who've got any anxiety is still going on, whether it be COVID-19 related or whatever it might be, try those techniques. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube to help and guide you through, lots of diagrams. But try those techniques and see if you can't reduce down that anxiety or fear. Like I was saying, you should be very specific, so don't be too generic. So rather than say a pain, I mean, we didn't say a pain to you, we said, well, what is that pain? Go a bit further. The same with the feeling. Maybe it's not good enough to say anxiety. Maybe it's tightness or it's pressure. You know, it's more specific and things like that. So don't make it too wide. There are times when we do widen it out, but I haven't got time to tell you about that. But try and keep it as specific as possible, and see where you go with it actually, and see if it makes a difference. And then it might open up an interest for you to go and study and learn it yourself.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. It felt amazing. Just that small amount that we did there, I feel a huge difference. So I can imagine if you were to have a sort of a proper session, it could work wonders.
Have I got time to? Yes, absolutely. I've got a couple of minutes, Rosemary, just to sort of illustrate a story, or not? Is it? Are we?
Go on.
No, I did it. I was invited along to a Teenage Cancer Trust Day last year sometime. And we had several teenagers, all with various cancers, that came in. It was at a spa, actually. And they were coming in for a bit of a pamper, you know, they're having a treatment and a facial or whatever, and lunch. And we were doing a little talk. And I was doing a very similar thing to what I'm doing now. There was a young boy there with a type of bone cancer, and he had a lot of pain. And he had his nurse with him, and we sat doing it, and I had a feeling the nurse must have thought, what on earth is this guy doing, you know? Anyway, we went through all the tapping, and this guy's pain was a 9, and I think it was in his shoulder blade, actually, where he had the cancer, and then it literally went down to a 1. And I didn't think any more of it. I mean, it didn't surprise me, because I thought, well, you see this kind of stuff going on all the time. But it wasn't until I was invited to go back a couple of months later that the same nurse came along with different group of people, and he said, "Oh, can I have a quick chat with you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "Do you remember the guy whose pain?" I said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "Well, what you don't know is," he said, "he was on morphine for his pain." He said, "And since he learned how to tap, he controls his pain now without taking his..."
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
So, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, that's not me saying, oh, this is a fix or a cure or anything like that.
Yeah,
but to be
yeah.
able to control your pain without having to take, you know,
Yeah.
really painkillers.
Yeah.
The nurse was delighted, and obviously so was he. So
Yeah.
an example of some of the things that you can do with
Yeah.
when you're really, you know.
Yeah.
And as I say, sometimes once you know how to do it, I like to sit with somebody and just get their permission and say, let me do it for you, so you can really home in and think about it.
Yeah.
While I did the tapping for you. So yeah.
Yeah.
Opens up a whole new host of possibilities, really.
Yeah.
So if you do decide to go and learn it, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, for anybody out there as well. Any questions at all?
No, I think, Nancy, that's been really great. Thank you so much, Mark.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me along. It's been great to do it. It's
Well,
nice to have a break, actually, from oncology massage. It's nice to do something a bit different.
Oh.
Mark, if people want to find you, what's the best way for people to find you?
So I'm just building a website. I'm having a website built at the moment. It's not ready yet. So best way, can they contact me through you, Rosemary?
Yeah, they can contact
Possible, just at the moment, until that website's up and running. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions or steer people in the right direction or whatever. Yeah.
That's great. So, okay, if you want to get in touch with Mark for a minute, just drop an email to info@thinktreehub.com, and we will pass it on to him. And that's wonderful. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching now, who watch it the replay. It'll also be on YouTube. So share it with your friends. Anybody who's suffering a little bit with anxiety or little things, exactly like Sahela, because there's a real change. A real change coming up. I think it's absolutely great for stuff like that.
Right. Well, good luck tomorrow. And yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was that
If you need to.
background?
Say that again.
Is that Ray Her in the background?
Yes, yeah. I tried to make my mum sort of take her to the shops, so they came back early.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. Cool. Okay then.
Bye.
Well,
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me too.
Bye.